Welcome back to the Flow Sports Fix on this Thursday. Don't forget the Flow Sports Show covering your local football and netball leagues is on tomorrow between 4 and 7 p.m. right across the network with Jace the Stat Man and Wayne the Flow Man. And the Flow Man right now, he's looking at who's starting up this weekend in footy and netball right across SA.
Mallee gets going and it's going to be fantastic. The Flow team with Jace Regan and also the MFL TV team, Big Bruce and Lachlan there, and also Mark joins them in the commentary box. Going to be great to have Damien and Michaela and Maxine doing a lot of the work around the cameras and so on. It is a terrific initiative, and they'll be at Karoonda to see Karoonda and Pinaroo. Murrayville will be at home against Lameroo in what will shape up as a real test for Murrayville with their travellers. And then finally Peak take on BDT. BDT been a really good side in this competition for many years and always favoured as we start. We mentioned K&T games yesterday, but Adelaide Plains also gets going. The Hummocks Watchmen play Two Wells, Balaclava play Malala, United play Hamley Bridge, and Angle Vale get Virginia. Northern Areas football, we've got Jamestown Peterborough, and they head off against Southern Flinders at home at Jamestown. Broughton Mundura at home against Orroroo, a replay of last year's grand final. And Bullaroo Melrose Wilmington take on Crystal Brook at home, and looking forward to that. Now over to the Eyre Peninsula, and what has been quoted as being one of the most exciting build-ups to any Eastern Eyre season. Andrew Jenner, their president, says they're looking forward to games getting started, and he can't remember a build-up quite like this one, with the Central Eyre Storm coming into this competition, and they play their first match at Riddell against Eastern Rangers. Cowell take on Kimber Districts down at Cowell. And likewise, Ron Redford, in his submission to the Western Eyre website, he said that it's been a remarkable few months what we've witnessed on the Eyre Peninsula, and that he felt it's been a long time coming, but now that it's here, there's a lot of excitement for it. And I know that Ron was at the Nippy Oval for the training that occurred for the boys from the West Coast Hawks playing their first home game this weekend in Western Eyre football. Wirral the Bombers are at home coming into this new competition. They take on the boys from Western United. They'll make the road trip over there and enjoy the spoils, I would reckon. And the final game is Kaniba and the Blues at Kaniba. This is a big start to the season for Western Eyre football. And looking at Great Flinders football, it gets going this weekend too. Cummins Kapini take on Eyre United. Tumby Bay take on the brand new Elliston Western Districts. This is a huge game for the new ones because they take the long road trip over to Tumby. A lot of people are going to spend Sunday down there, I believe, too, with overnight stay at the caravan park and so on, which is great to hear. And Lock, the Ramblers and United Yalana all have a bye. So just the two games for the 7-team competition. It is a bit hard to program a 7-teamer and does drag up this issue of the byes and how to get them into the program. So interesting start to the season expected in Eyre Peninsula. Also across in the Mallee and the K&T and in the Mid-North and Adelaide Plains too. A lot of football getting going this weekend, and we'll have all of the coverage on the Friday night sports show from 4 o'clock through to 7 here on Flow FM.
It will be another big show for the Flow Man and the Stat Man tomorrow, but before we get to that, you've got to hear the Flow Man talking about some salary cap issues.
Competitions that are getting started. It's so exciting for Wimmera football after the year off last year and seeing Horsham District go last week, North Central too, not far away. The Wimmera gets its chance this weekend. And AFL Wimmera Mallee have changed their salary caps for the season 2021. In the Wimmera, it's $96,000 a year, so about $5,500 a week that would equate to. And the Horsham District is $80,000, so about $4,500 per week for each club. And that is significantly more for the Kaniva All Club, who've joined the Horsham District for their player payment system, given that in South Australia, the South Australian competitions are reduced to $2,500 a week. We have a look at how the clubs are faring in the Wimmera and what we're looking for. And I reckon Minyat Matoa, chatting last night to Ross Brown, who is one of our terrific correspondents for many, many years in the Southern Mallee Giants colours, and he was telling me this, just how good I think Minyat Matoa will be. It'll be a tough ask in the second round when they front up to them, the guys from the Southern Mallee Giants. Round one for them is actually not till next week for the Giants to take on Warwick Nabil. This will be a big clash this weekend for Minyat Matoa, and we're going to see what they've got with Kieran Delahunty coming back to the club club. Haven't lost anybody from their premiership year of 2019, and everyone's talking about Minya Matoa, the ones to beat. Having a look across towards some of the competitions that started last weekend in the North Central competition, I thought I'd take a look at the under-16 comp. You may remember that it was Sea Lake Nandali, the Tigers, who won the under-16s and were runners-up to Bort in the under-13s in 2019. With the progress of time and no football in 2020, you see just what could be the emergence of the top sides even after round one. It's a 7-team competition in the under-16s of North Central, and with Witchyproof Narraport not having a side, their boys are going down to play Charlton. In the first round, Charlton played Witchyproof, so they didn't have a game for that grade. But Bort have got a couple of stars. This Holland, who birded 6 goals, and Potter, who I've seen his name come through year after year in the junior ranks. And those two players were very, very good for Bort in their win over Sea Lake Nandali. Now, Sea Lake Nandali got a young lad called Cox, and I've been told that he played in a trial match for the Sea Lake Nandali Tigers senior side against the Southern Mallee Giants, and they reckon that this kid at the age of 14 or so can really play. We'll watch this one with interest. But the other side I reckon to watch in this competition is Donald. They were really, really good in their big win first up against Wedderburn. And they got a young lad called Berry who can really go, kick some goals. Morgan is a very good player in their side too, and Adams, I think, could be another one of the stars of the future. Look out for these names as they start coming through week in, week out, and we'll keep you posted with the competitions as they unfold. In New South Wales, it is the start of the Riverina competition, and there very much excitement as this occurs. Hume and Farah got going last week and was terrific to get a start. And with the Riverina getting started, it brings the Collingully side in, and Narandra, both of whom stood out last year when it was just a 6-team Riverina competition. So the Wagga Tigers favoured there as they would be given they won last year's abridged season. But look out for the players that are coming out of Elite and Witten, the Crows, and don't be surprised if there's not a very competitive Narandra side out on the park this weekend. And finally, the match for Holbrook home game this weekend is being moved to Walla Walla. Walla Walla was the venue for Carl Cairns' home game last weekend. So good on the people at Walla Walla for making their ground available. And the reason Holbrook's $1.5 million ground update is not ready for unveiling just yet. So Holbrook get to play their home game over at Walla Walla.
And the Flow Man will be back tomorrow afternoon from 4 till 7 with the Flow Sports Show, joined with the Stat Man as well as they look at local football and netball right across the Flow region.